you guys are all having a great week of training. Today's topic, I wanted to go over how many weeks does it take to run a half marathon. And I really stress the importance of using leverage when it comes to training. Can you get in great half marathon shape in a matter of 8 to 12 weeks? Absolutely. It's how you're setting up your training. If you're running too many miles or kilometers too easy and you have a specific race time that you're going after, trying to condense all of your training in a very short amount of time doesn't always work out the best for athletes. I mean, I'm a big believer in a longer approach. I think in terms of how many weeks does it take to run a half marathon? I think if your goal, it depends on the goal as well. If your goal is just to go out and enjoy a half marathon and compete and go out and have fun with your friends and family, you can get in decent shape to run a half marathon in a matter of probably about 8 weeks. I would recommend 8 weeks if it's just more for a fun type of experience. But for most athletes, at least the ones I've run across, is they have time goals. They either want to break a 2-hour half marathon, or maybe go under an hour and 30 minutes, or maybe break 3 hours for the half marathon. So the faster that you're trying to run and the more strategic you're trying to be in terms of your preparation, you need to think bigger and longer. The more time that you spend training for your half marathon, and as long as you do it correctly, you focus first on your aerobic base, building a larger amount of time of easy, relaxed aerobic running, coupled with doing strides twice per week, and then you start implementing specific race pace training into your, the 4 phases I focus on with my training plans and the running courses are the aerobic base phase, the half marathon specific training phase, where we focus specifically on training at or close to half marathon race pace. Then we move into the speed development phase, where we're focusing on training at the VO2 max effort, training much faster than goal half marathon pace. That's probably the hardest part of training for preparing for a half marathon, coupled with doing a taper, because a lot of athletes are so used to, including myself, we get so caught up in doing the training and staying consistent with our mileage, staying consistent with our track workouts, road sessions. It's very hard to drop volume, drop intensity, and to allow ourselves to recover from the hard training that we're doing. So that taper phase is pretty difficult. But the speed development phase of the training plans I have on RunDreamAchieve.com and the running courses that I teach, that part is probably the most difficult, because there's nothing easy about training much faster than anaerobic threshold effort. When tempo runs are already demanding in and of themselves. When you're running between 85 to 88% of your max heart rate, which is around where the type of intensity we're running at during our tempo runs or our anaerobic threshold. It's the point where the body starts to build up lactic acid. It starts rising, and it gets, it's not comfortable. It's not like easy, relaxed, comfortable pace where you can have a conversation. But training at VO2 max effort, doing that speed development, that's where you're running closer to 95 to 100% of your maximum heart rate. So we can only spend a few seconds to a few minutes at that particular effort before we have to stop and take a break and then attack again. Always start your next repetition once you get your heart rate right around 120 beats per minute. Keep that in mind, especially if you're making sure that you're recovered enough after each hard interval that you're doing. And so in terms of answering the question, how many weeks should you do to train properly for a half marathon? Again, the minimum, in my opinion, would be around 12 weeks. Optimal is around 20 weeks. So, and I do have training plans that extend out to 24 weeks in length on RunDreamAchieve.com as well. So again, if you're focusing on not being in a rush, which is absolutely essential if you want to run fast over any distance, whether you're training for the 5K, 10K, half marathon, 10-mile distance, 25K, 15K, or the marathon, focus on a longer build-up, so you're not as rushed. You're not trying to get in great race shape in a matter of a few weeks. It takes a minimum of 3 to 4 weeks. Sometimes it takes some athletes about 8 weeks to fully adapt to getting in great enough anaerobic shape where you can start doing those longer tempo runs, where you can start doing track workouts, repeat miles, repeat 2 miles on the track at your goal race pace or far below your goal race pace. And again, the key thing to always keep in mind is recovery. Make sure that you are running slow enough on your recovery days so that you maximize all of the hard training that you're doing. There's only so many times you can push the body hard. So the way I would set up a week, if you're training for a half marathon, is, on a Monday, Monday might be focused on doing like repeat miles or repeat 800s on the track, or doing 5 times 1K on the roads. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, focus on running easy, relaxed, so that you can recover from that Monday's workout. And again, every athlete is different. There's some elite athletes or professional level athletes that might do a second hard anaerobic workout on that Monday. They might go, in the PM and do repeat quarters. But other athletes might need to, one hard VO2 max workout on Monday, and then they may need 2 days recovery. Some other athletes out there might just need 1 day of recovery. But I think it's very smart to focus on ensuring always that you're paying attention to recovery and rest after you do these hard anaerobic workouts training for your half marathon. Because again, continuing to push the body hard anaerobically without giving proper rest in between each one of those hard efforts is going to cause you frustration. You'll wonder, why can't I go out and do the next hard anaerobic workout the way I planned, or hit the paces that I wanted, when really the problem was you didn't give yourself enough rest in between those hard efforts. So again, this is just an example, but Monday, hard track workout or a harder road session. Tuesday and Wednesday, focus on recovery. Then Thursday, focus on maybe doing a tempo run. Okay, if you're doing the tempo run, again, focus on running around 85 to 88% of your maximum heart rate. I'm a big believer in heart rate monitor training. I use the Garmin 245 myself. If you want to check that out, there's a link below all of my videos for that particular model. There's a ton of different heart rate monitors out there, but when you're running at your anaerobic threshold, again, it's around 85 to 88% of your max heart rate. So most of the time when I'm doing a VO2 or a tempo run, I'm focusing on keeping my heart rate around 165 to 170. So again, and it also factors in with age as well. So if you're younger, it might be around 165 to 175. If you're older, it might be 150 to 155. So the key thing with heart rate monitor training, though, is what I like about it, whether you're training for the half marathon, a 5K, or a marathon, is it'll keep you focused on staying in your proper heart rate zone rather than worrying about what splits you're hitting. As you get more anaerobically fit, your heart doesn't work as hard, have to work as hard. Your paces per mile, your paces per kilometer will get faster at the same exact heart rate that you were running at the earlier stages of your half marathon buildup. So, and it also, heart rate monitor training is also great in the fact that, it'll always keep you ensure that you're not running too fast on easy days and not too slow on hard days. So again, just consider doing that as well. So on a Thursday, we would do a tempo run. Friday and Saturday might be just focused on, Friday might be an easy day, Saturday might be off for some athletes, and then Sunday we do the long run. Okay, and again, it's just an example week, but again, focus on doing varied pace long runs. One weekend you do a varied pace long run, which means you have a mixture of aerobic and anaerobic training, followed the next week by an easy, relaxed long run. Always alternate your long runs, the intensities of your long runs, to ensure recovery takes place. Google the word supercompensation. Okay, most of the times right after, immediately following a hard anaerobic workout, your body's 2 to 3 times weaker than it was prior to starting the workout that you did. So it's the hours after, preferably right around 2 to 3 days, 1 to 2 days after a hard anaerobic workout is where you get the most benefit from that hard workout. So rest is critical. So that's my answer in terms of how many weeks. I would focus a minimum of 8, moving out toward around 20 weeks. There's some athletes out there that may need 24 weeks, might want to focus on a 6-month buildup rather than a 5-month buildup. There's other athletes that prefer 12 weeks. Again, it's also going to depend on your schedule as well. There's some athletes that work in full-time jobs, they're in school, that might want to focus on just an 8-week build-up. So again, it all comes down to the goals of the athlete themselves, how fast you're trying to run, and how you set up your training. Because again, don't get caught up with high mileage and thinking more volume is the answer. You know, it's about using leverage. Train smarter rather than harder. So I hope this video makes sense. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Leave me a comment below this video. I appreciate that. And liking this video and sharing this video with your friends and family, co-workers, anybody that you know that's trying to run a faster half marathon or any other distance, definitely helps the channel. So I definitely appreciate you all. Hope this video was helpful, and I will talk to you all in the next one.